Yes, my people, welcome back to Tenacious Trading Group, and we're back with another one. So this is my 1 hour chart. This is my 1 hour time frame, and price is, you could say, still bullish based off the SMA and potentially based off structure. So we came from this high, and this caused a market structure break. So this is my protected low. Price should respect this low and continue to make higher highs and higher lows. And then obviously this is my weak high that I would like for price to run. So obviously within this structure, we can see that price made a SBS, where this is my 1, this is my 2, this is my 3, 4, and then our 5. We've had our sweep. We've tapped into an area of interest potentially, and even if I get my fill from this low to this high, you can see that we come close, or we about tap into the 618, and price bounces back up. So just based off that, you can see that price is bullish. My only issue was that this low had failed to take out this high. So initially I thought to myself, okay, potentially this might be a weak low. We might want to run this first and then continue higher, because now potentially my SBS could have been like this, where this could have been my 1, this could have been my 2, this could have been my 3, and obviously went for 4 and 5, and then we may potentially push up. However, I just told myself, look, until price disrespects this protected low, we are still bullish. And within this structure, we can see that price made a low, a high, a low, high, lower low, higher high, higher low, and potentially a higher high. So internally through structure, if I just mark it out for you guys, if that makes it a little bit more easier, we can see that price was bearish at one point internally, and then price was bullish internally. So now technically, based off internal structure, this is now my protected low, and this is now my weak high that I would like for price to run. So you could say that we're kind of ranging inside within the structure. However, overall price is still bullish overall. So now that I've kind of got my narrative based off my higher time frame, I'm now just going to go to my lower time frame and see if I can match it with this, or potentially just see what price is doing based off the SMAs on the lower time frame. So when we go down to our 5-minute, we can see that we have this bearish zone. So we have this bearish zone from this high to this low, and if I just mark out like this, if it makes it a little bit more easy for you guys. So we have this zone here, and we can see that price came back. We mitigated 50% of the actual swing point zone. We mitigated the 618, but we failed to make a new lower low. Instead, what we done was we made a high, low, higher low, higher high, sorry, potentially a lower high, higher high. So just from that case, I just said to myself, you know what, I might start looking for longs if the opportunity arises for me. And even if I do it from a structural basis again internally, because remember, this is my protected high based off the 5-minute, this is my weak low. Right now, everything inside of this is just internal structure, and we can clearly see that price was bearish here, and then we had another one here. Sorry, this is just quickly trying to go over it. And then we had another one here, and then from here we had one here, and then from here we had another one right there. So just from internal structure, I can already see that price is quite bullish. And yeah, I could say that price is quite bullish. So when I go down to my 1 hour, my 1-minute time frame now, and I just clear my charts, we can see that we have a bullish zone, and within this bullish zone we have SPS. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Obviously, we've had our sweep. We've had our sweep. We potentially wanted to come and fill this imbalance. And then now potentially price wants to shoot higher. So we are below the SMA, the 200 SMA, and I was mindful of that. So even when I mark up my fib from this low to this high, we can see that price tapped the 618. But again, we were below the 200 SMA, so I was a little bit mindful, and I just kind of waited to see what price would do. But internally, this was our last bearish zone. So technically, if I want a flip, we need price to take out this high, internal high. So when I let price play out, okay, so I entered here, and the reason why I entered here was because we had an area of support and resistance. So if I just mark it out a little bit more, so if I just drag it out, we can see that this area is either its resistance or its support. And if I keep dragging it out, you guys will see what I'm talking about. Like, I can keep going on and on and on. And can you see how it's an area where price is support, and sometimes an area where price is resistance? You know, so if there's an opportunity where price might want to bounce from this specific area, then the likelihood of it happening, you know, maybe high, maybe low, but all I have to do is just react to what the market gives me. And this is why we have stop losses put in place. So when I am wrong, or when price doesn't intend to do what I would like it to do, you know, I cut my losses short. So I actually entered, let me just double check. Yeah, perfect. So I actually entered here, long position right there, stop below these lows, and then obviously the target was a 2R, but at the time I let a runner happen. So you know, in this case it was a little bit higher. So if I just rewind it back and I just buy there, stop at the bottom here, one tick below, and then obviously take profit at the top. This was the trade that I took, and when we let price play out, we can see now we have our initial flip, and then now if you actually want to take a trade from this flip zone, then that's also an opportunity for you to, you know, potentially counter something. And yep, that was my trade. And then we can see here that potentially we have SPS model 1, where is it, where this could be your 1, this could be your 2, this is currently your 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we come back to sweep, where this is your 4 and this is also your 5. So you get that sweep there. And even if I match it with the fib from this low to this high, we can see that we tapped the 618. So even if you missed this opportunity here, you still had SPS model 1, where you could have potentially got yourself in. And then if you let price play out, we can see price keeps pushing higher. We're above the 200 SMA, and price keeps going. And I mean, we can make ourselves have SPS continuation or SPS combo, where this could be also your 1, this could be your 2, this could be your 3, 4, 5. And you can see how price still keeps making its way higher. And that's all come from me just understanding where we are within our 1 hour time frame. that price is still bullish overall based off the SMA and based off market structure externally and internally. When I went down to my 5, price was a little bit funny, but technically we were pulling back based off this high to low. We were pulling back, and potentially this was a weak high because we failed to run this low. But we can see that, look, we made a low, made a high, low, higher high, higher low, potentially higher high, higher low, and then potentially a higher high. So based off our 5-minute, we can see that price is in the pullback phase where it wants to pull back, tap into some potential on our left, and then continue down. However, on a 1-minute time frame, we can see that price was actually bullish. So can you see how on different time frames you're gonna get different things? However, when you match it together and you put all, and when you piece everything together, things make sense. So yes, price was pulling back on a 5-minute. However, on our 1-minute, we know that that could be an uptrend. Remember, a leg, for those of you that remember, a higher time frame swing leg is a lower time frame trend. So I've marked this out. I'm gonna just mark it out as this blue icon here. When I go down to my 1-minute time frame and I zoom out, this is probably not the best example, so let me find another one for you. So I'll use this leg here, and you go down to a 1-minute time frame. We can see that that swing leg is a lower time frame trend. Obviously, if I go down to my 15-second, my 5-second, it will look much more better. But you guys get the gist. But yeah, so yeah, that's it for today. I mean, some people might say today was complicated. Some people might say today was alright. Personally, I just thought if you saw the setup and you traded the setup, you would have been okay. If you use your higher time frame for alignment with your lower time frame, personally, I think it would have been okay. And that's it. To be fair, this should have potentially been trade of the week, but I've already submitted one for this week, so obviously this is why I'm making a breakdown overall for this. But that's it from me today, guys. I wish you guys a good morning, good afternoon, a good evening, and a good night. And always remember that victory belongs to the most tenacious. Peace.